Okay, I'm afraid it's me again. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience. Please sit down. To my immediate right, Ms. Rose Guttemüller, the Deputy Secretary, President Kolinda Grabar-Kitarović of Croatian NATO.
Very good, Robin. Thank you.
Madam President, I mean, when you hear this, is this something that reassures you?
Certainly, yes. And to begin with, I'd like to say that in today's world, we need aspects where we need to bring our Euro-Atlantic space out of the box that we've been living in. First and foremost, it's about ensuring for our own defense and security, investing into not just our armed forces, but the...
This is part of a question which I want to expand upon a little later, but you mentioned, you volunteered that...
No, I don't think we should be pushed by arguments like that. It's our own determined to stand shoulder by shoulder with everyone who's in the alliance. Now,
Deputy Prime Minister, are you worried in Ukraine that this is pretty much the end of the road for the accession process to NATO?
Understand that such nations as Ukraine, our nation, has made a very clear choice to senators. So we Ukrainians have enjoyed bipartisan support of the Congress over this 2.5 years, and I think that...
Now, what I'm suggesting to you is not that I don't have sympathy with your position, and I'm sure that 99% of the people in this room...
I really believe that the whole issue of non-proliferation after Ukraine has been basically betrayed upon Budapest Memorandum of 1994 is really at stake for the whole world. Or attack on the internet that we've seen already in the US. Is it already an attack that calls for employing of Article 5?
Parts actually move together. It's like a clock where one thing moves and then something else moves. You can't take something in isolation. So the kind of theoretical deal...
the commitments that countries have made, but it's also a reflection of the...
That is a perfect segue into the question I wanted to, a broader question, and I partly referred to it earlier. I mean, a lot of the questions I started out with looked on the negative side and the nervousness side, but is there a scenario here?
Already headed down that road, I would say. It's very clear to me in Eastern and Central Europe. So that's the first thing. But also, it was proving that NATO could bring not only security to that part of the world, but also benefits for the countries who are often skeptical about NATO membership. But the other thing we were able to do is welcome a Serbian team to Montenegro. So to get that out on the table, that has to be one of the basic principles as we move forward.
Sure.
Being too slow in our response, being too divisive, being too hesitant, which by Russia was interpreted as weakness. And what about the Southeast Europe, or what some people call it the Western Balkans? I don't like the term because it signifies ghettoization of a number of countries who for a number of years have been trying to become members of NATO, and Montenegro will be there in a few months. But what about Macedonia? You know, the quibble about the name, can that be more important than the security situation? Unfortunately, it can. Please do not take me as somebody who's predicting a doomsday over there, but I don't think there is enough focus by the international community, by the European Union, by NATO on Bosnia and Herzegovina and the potential centrifugal forces that could break the country apart. Finally, for Bosnia and Herzegovina to be able to decide on their own future and looking at a renewed, self-determined spheres of influence concept, where they're a different balancing act. We need to stand firmly. There is no compromise about...
To your world. I also wanted to say that I think that deterrence and defense that Euros were referring to, they wanted that membership because they didn't want to be an easy target anymore. They want to
look at how we can encourage Bosnia-Herzegovina, Macedonia, other countries who are interested in looking. We put in place economic sanctions, which I hope we are going to roll over again.
But what I've also seen is a new interest in strengthened and enhanced partnerships, joint training, joint work, It is actually, I think, a powerful symbol of the way that NATO is addressing its priorities, not only to deterrence.
So it would be wrong to reduce it to a relationship with Russia, and I think that wrong. But as I said, protecting the principles of international law, not compromising about them in any way, being very, there may be nuances in terms of cooperation.
Did either of you want to add to that? It was mentioned 57 times in that communique, emphasizing that clearly Russia is on everybody's mind. I mean, there's no question about it. Do you foresee any dangers where there's a vacuum here that might be filled? And may I put it first of all to Deputy Secretary General, is NATO on a sort of amber alert, not literally, but a sort of mental amber alert, that this is a potentially dangerous time when there's a vacuum going on?
Well, as I mentioned in my opening remarks,
Right, and Madam Deputy Prime Minister,
We are,
spreads about as
and
high as you can get.
there we are, and unfortunately we cannot relax.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen,
Sorry, can I just
yes,
add
yes.
about the vacuum of the transition? Let's not think feel in Southeast Europe has started to stir commotion in some of our neighboring countries.
That's very interesting. So in
We've-
other words,
we
clarity.
It's the same thing. Russia is denying, you tell, and I hope that everybody understands that I'm saying it ironically, and obviously not Ukrainian. So, and I think this is, but
Has to get a flight. We have 4 minutes left, and therefore I wanted to give each of the panelists 1 minute. 6 months' time, when the dust has settled. That's optimistic in itself.
that's
but when-
optimistic.
I meant when the dust has settled in the United States of America, continue to go from strength to strength. And perhaps if we start from Senator Shaheen and work back to Deputy Secretary General. Thank you.
Yes, I do believe that. And
It's going to be absolutely necessary for NATO to do some heavy lifting in coming months.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in thanking. Okay. Well.